Hey guys, it's Rook. Welcome back. We are officially in the GX era. We are in full swing. Cards updated on Dueling Book as of Monday morning. And I know Europe already has their boxes in tow. We've seen quite a few decks posted on paper. As the list creeps its way out, we've had the full list for probably about 2 weeks now, maybe over 2 weeks. People are starting to test what decks they want to use. People gravitating towards new archetypes coming from the box itself. But a lot of people might be kind of gravitating towards still some of the old stuff that we've seen in Battle City, and we're really just looking for some cards to tech into existing decks. There are some people that might still be sticking to previous decks like Spellproof Armor, Warriors, other decks coming out all the way back to 2019, and maybe the GX we're not looking to take on an entirely new deck. We're looking to just grab the staples and put them right into our deck and see if it works and meshes with them. So I'm sure you're all excited to get into the GX box, especially as it comes out in North America coming into April, and you want to kind of test out the decks as a whole in that playable format, what the archetypes are, what the themes are, how the skills work. But there might be some of you that are just taking an existing deck and looking for a couple cards to tech in to see if you can enhance that deck in any way. We've seen a few cards kind of stand out that we've seen applied to old format decks, and they have proven to be successful and a little more fine-tuned even in the previous state prior to the GX release. I'm here to share 3 cards with you that we've seen stick out so far in the GX box that's been pretty significant and has tuned up some of the older decks. I'm going to go one by one for you, but if you're looking to just kind of take a couple cards from the GX box and try and like fine-tune a deck that you already have, these might be some good cards for you to check out. The first one a lot of people should be familiar with. This is Cyber Dragon, came out in the GX box here. This is a machine effect monster that you can essentially get out for free for the most part. 2100 attack monster that you can get out, and it just adds so much pressure to your board. The effect is if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So a lot of people are going to use this card to just get a field of high-powered monsters out there right away and get that rushdown effect, or you can get it out and you can get some tribute action on it. If you're going second and your opponent has already played a monster on the first turn, there's your Cyber Dragon right there. And 2100 attack beats over Breaker, beats over Kaiku, it beats over some of the new kind of 4-stars that we see come out in the GX box. And it's not going to quite beat over your Monarchs, but it's still really good board presence right there. So Cyber Dragon's going to be a good splash in pretty much any deck. You technically could put this in any deck. That's what makes it a great card. We're seeing specific synergy in Spellproof Armor because it is a light machine monster. So machine monster keeps up Spellproof Armor. It can't be targeted by spells when you use that skill. And it's just another solid monster. Spellproof Armor has always had a slight problem of keeping monsters on the field and kind of getting enough monsters to rush down your opponent. Cyber Dragon is a great addition to that deck. So Cyber Dragon is a great card to splash in all decks. Next card that's going to be a good staple to kind of take into any deck is going to be DD Warrior Lady. A lot of folks have talked about this, and if you played this kind of back when it was pretty present in the advanced format, you know exactly why this is a scary card. This is a better Newdoria. We've seen so far it be teched kind of in the Dark Moth deck, although I guess we can't call it Dark Moth anymore, can it? Because Parasite Paranoid's Earth, and now we bring in DD Warrior Lady, which is light, all of a sudden kind of thinking about taking out those Allure Darknesses, huh? DD Warrior Lady reads, after damage calculation, when this card battled an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster, also banish this card. So this is a great way to kind of catch an opponent off guard and get something out of there in straight removal, and it's a banish. So anything that goes in the graveyard that can still interact with the graveyard, all of a sudden you take that out of the equation because you're going to be able to banish both. So if a card battles over DD Warrior Lady, whether Warrior Lady is an attack or defense, you can choose the option to banish both. Which DD Warrior Lady having banished is not the end of the world. It's done its part. You're mainly looking to banish the other opponent's monster and not giving them any opportunity to play around with the graveyard to get it back. So DD Warrior Lady is a great splash that you're going to see in a lot of decks. Currently seeing kind of lean towards the Moth deck because we are seeing it kind of replace Newdoria in some aspect, but this is a solid staple that can work well in any deck as well. And the last card just right out of the gate to try and grab and see if it works in a deck for you is the Wall of Disruption. This is a card that we've seen start to pop up in the early kind of format testing. This has been the trap that really stands out among them all in terms of a card that you can really kind of put into any deck. So a really good staple trap if you want to switch out something like a Widespread Ruin or maybe any other trap that kind of catches your opponent that way. Wall of Disruption is a good one to look at and to think about. Wall of Disruption is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, all attack position monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack for each monster they control. So, if your opponent has 2 monsters on the field, monsters in attack position are going to lose 1600 attack. You think about what that does to a lot of monsters. It's going to drop them to 0 or darn close. A lot of monsters dropping down to 500 or less with Wall of Disruption. That is granted they have 2 monsters out. Now, if they have 3 monsters out, you're losing 2,400 attack each. If it's a solo monster, it's still not bad. You're losing 800 attack. Think about a player that has a Solo Breaker or Kaiku out. All of a sudden, that's dropping them below 1,000. Your monster's going to be able to take out pretty much anything that gets disrupted, and it's a trap, so you can activate it right when you need to make sure that that works. Think about a scary boss monster like Moth, or like anything with 3,000 plus attack. You lose 1,600, and all of a sudden that's going to drop it down to 19. That can get beat over by Cyber Dragon, for example. So Wall of Disruption is going to come in pretty clutch in those situations. All right, guys, quick video today. More to come as we dive more into the GX box, but wanted to pull these 3 cards right out into the open for you guys. In case you're looking for some quick tips and quick techs, these are some good ones that we're finding success with so far. If you enjoyed this video, please stick around as we're going to have tons more GX stuff to come, and of course, weekly tournament coverage so we can watch the meta progress for GX. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you later.